Say one of the statements that was reported about one of the employees under the former administration was that they made the statement that they had no confidence in black professionals. Now, under your administration, knowing this is a new day and a new time, what system or procedures will you put in place to, one, hire qualified, experienced staff to implement the monitoring and tracking you need for accountability, but also importantly, two, to ensure that African Americans and other minorities get a fair share of HISD's contract dollars, because we all pay taxes?
Yes, ma'am. So first and foremost, had that statement that you just quoted been made by anybody in my administration, they'd be fired. That's unacceptable. So the second thing I think is important is that the board and I are very interested in making sure that as contracts go out, that we look at the MWBE component of our contracts to ensure that people are actually applying for those, and they're given it's one thing to apply and to have the ability to put your hat in the ring, but it's totally a different thing to actually be competitive and know how the system works. So we've implemented this year some workshops where, potential contractors can actually come in, get a tutorial of how to go through the process, how to put together their proposals. I've got to tell you that we had a big loss very early in my tenure of our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Hewitt, who was incredible as a Chief Financial Officer. He's now Vice President at TSU. But Ken was wonderful in starting to really bring some focus to that area and putting people in place that were monitoring it. I'll tell you, we've been super excited and lucky to hire another Chief Financial Officer that has that same zeal, Dr. Barajas, who's here with us today. So we are focused on making sure that minorities, women, all minority groups have an opportunity to have a fair shake at doing business with HISD.
And we'd ask that you try to not lump all of them together in one pot, so we can know what the percentages are. Okay?
And we actually are starting to disaggregate who are by subgroup, so that we can hold ourselves accountable to that. But I will tell you that the biggest accountability for us is our board, because the board insists that we have this information when they're considering contracts and contracting.
Fair enough.